Welcome to Last Week in Warframe, a series where I keep you updated on the past week of Warframe, from announcements made by DE that don't necessarily warrant their own videos to community fan art posts and updates. So without further ado, let's go over Dee's announcements and news from the 21st to the 27th of July. Starting this week's episode off, DE announced that some sort of event might happen this upcoming weekend. Whether that does happen, we'll have to wait and see. They also went through a portfolio of someone in DE, specifically showing items shown at TennoCon. They first showed off the still of a pre-Grineer cloning defects face, the face of one of the Grineers shown during the new player experience cinematic that was shown at TennoCon. A number of angles and concepts of Harrow's deluxe skin, with shots of his weapon skin, face, and body were also shown. They provided an updated look at Zephyr Deluxe's skin, however there is still no release window, but it has been updated with this new preview, so maybe you'll get it within the next 5 years. Next was multiple angles and concepts from the version of Adak shown during the Deviri Paradox teaser, with multiple images of its various states, headshots, and the weapon it was using during that teaser. When it comes to that sword, players might get their hands on it, but we'll have to wait and see, and they also showed off stills and clips of the horse from that Deviri trailer as well. Lastly, there was a full still of the worm that was shown during TennoCon Empyrean and the Deviri Paradox reveal. For those like myself who thought it was Hayden Tenno in the Deviri Paradox, it is not. Jeff confirmed that it is just your grown-up operator, and that the similarity is a coincidence in their design. When it comes to it, your operator will be shown in their grown-up state, and in regards to any purchased cosmetics and appearances, Jeff and Steve had the following to say.
People are saying, I've spent 600 platinum on cosmetics for my operator. Does that mean they're all gone?
Yes.
Does that mean they're all gone?
No.
No, they just scale up, so don't worry if you...
They don't scale up.
They don't scale up.
It is going to be kind of hilarious, though, seeing some of those cosmetics applied to an adult.
Yeah, but you don't need to rebuy them.
But, you know, we're going to, yep.
I can't wait to...
Let's not. None of that is official.
None of that's official.
None of that's official. Our intentions are not necessarily to have.
And forget everything we just said.
A backward compatibility thing. More on that later.
More on that later.
The content is being explored, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, your old operator, you know.
You'll have to play it to kind of understand where the presented paradoxical people end up.
Indeed.
Now, in regards to reworks and changes, Scott did say he started to look into Vauban and his notes, but no information had been shared during this stream. The loadout screen will also be updated to UI 3.0 and have a number of new features added, such as the ability to favorite loadouts and change the icon of a loadout to a glyph that you own. Vault will also be receiving cloth physics for those interested in that and have been asking for that. The Captura launch button will be moved to the top right of the screen alongside a new feature that links your mods or cosmetic loadouts. This feature will be available when you're in their respected UI screens, and Pablo expanded on it with a number of replies to players on Twitter, saying, "You won't be able to link your loadouts outside of the game. It is solely for in-game and for those on the same game build." In regards to that same build comment, Pablo elaborated, saying, "After a hotfix, if someone hasn't restarted, but you have and you send him a link, he won't be able to open it." Now, in response to a player asking what happens if I don't own cosmetics the shared loadout has, Pablo said, "Anything you don't own is listed on the left. You can also partially apply. Like in the video, you can see the original linker had Harrow's Noble animation set and Kuva chestplate, but the receiver didn't, and he could still apply the rest. When it comes to applying loadouts to other Warframes, he said, you can see it and it will give you the option to apply the look to Nova or the current frame you have equipped. So if you have a preferred color combination to use all over, you can use this to transfer looks around. Want to move the Sabaris crit build to Rubico? That works too." When you apply a shared loadout to your loadout, you'll also have the option to choose which loadout will be overwritten, as shown by Pablo through his tweet. And also in response to a question about color channels, saying, "What about frames with bad color channels that don't match up with other frames?" Pablo said, "That is up to you. This just applies what was linked." Pablo also said the following to a question about polarity capacity and placement with polarity slots. It prioritizes capacity, so it will seek to match polarities. The downside of this approach is that it might flip some elemental mods and the combination might end up changing, so at that point needs human brain to rearrange. The link system won't be allowed at launch in region chat, trade chat, or recruiting chat channels as well. Next for the Devstream, Wukong Deluxe will probably release this week on PC, and alongside that announcement, they showed off his in-game model with a bunch of random colors. Before they showed off the abilities for Gauss, they also showed a preview of Rebecca playing the Shorzin hero. I'll play that for you right now with the audio.
And an evening, thought, what could we let players play it? The answer is yes. It kind of works. I don't know if the notes are final, so I'm a little...
The notes are not final.
The notes are not final, but it does work. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
You're changing. Practice the national anthem.
Fret and note. No.
Sound like you're singing No Canada.
How do you play Roundabout, Steve?
Yeah, you need harmonics, which I don't think this has. Yep.
All right, so
there is going to be Elise did these animations. She's working on. I think they're going to try and get some.
The plucking.
Yeah. So we have the animation team working on it. So if you own the cosmetic, I believe the plan is that you'll just have this emote automatically.
Yeah.
And it should work in squads.
Oh, if you have the Shaozen, you get this emote. That's cool.
If you have the Shaozen, you get the emote. That's
so it should work so then we can be playing together.
Yeah, so you can do like a pre-mission.
So we can jam in the relays and stuff?
Yeah. Relays, I don't think it works. I think it's squad.
Well, let's make it work in relays.
Well, that's not my...
It's just one of those things where do you want to impose your music onto...
How did we do that before? I think.
And I did state Gauss's abilities were shown, so his abilities I'll be taking straight from the official DE overview with their straight words. So his passive will be that his shield regen rate increases when he moves. The first ability can either be tapped for a short burst of speed, or held for a consistent drain to increase your speed, but at the cost of maneuverability. When you hold down the ability, you'll also have the ability to run on water, but you won't be able to stop on that water. On top of this, if you ram into enemies or walls, it will do damage and build up your gauge meter next to your energy bar. The second ability will protect you from physical, cold, and heat damage at the cost of draining your gauge. As it protects, it will replenish small amounts of energy as well. With this ability active, slamming into your enemies with your first ability will cause /procs. The third ability, depending on if you tap or hold the casting button, will either cast a circle of cold or a circle of heat around you, hurting enemies. Double tapping or double holding will force another freezing or heat proc onto enemies within the area. If you hit an enemy with cold and then heat using the ability, it will create a blast proc with that combination. Lastly, the fourth ability will unlock once the gauge is full. Upon cast, you will be able to fill up the top half of the gauge, increasing your movement, reload, and melee speed as well as its damage. If you do not hit the 100% cap of the top half of your gauge by the time this ability ends, your entire meter will drain. And they stated Gauss and Grendel will release together in the same update, but no release window was given. Next up in the Devstream, the Drydock will display your railjack regardless of if another clan member has theirs docked outside of your squad. So if you're in your own squad, you call in your railjack, and then someone in your clan who's not in your squad calls theirs, only yours will shown. It'll be this little bubble where it will only display your stuff. The Drydock may possibly be released before Empyrean, so players can prepare for the expansion and won't have to wait to start building it and get into it, but they are still working it out, and it may not come before Empyrean launches. We'll have to wait and see. The Drydock will be its own room that we have to build, and Steve said they will be increasing dojo capacity, but the cost of the construction of the Drydock is unknown at this time. Dark sectors are not on the top of the creation pile and was only shown within the demo as a reminder for the developers. The Assassin's Creed and Hacking Blade is a multi-tool and will be for all Warframes when released. This is the tool shown throughout the TennoCon reveal, and it can be used to hack doors, terminals, as well as seen during TennoCon to take down Kuva Liches, and possibly in the future, in the long term, provide players an outlet for finding more information about how to take down their Kuva Liches. The multi-tool will be the outlet for the cinematic finisher rework to save some time than working on animations for each weapon. Whether they will continue to work on finishers for each weapon type was unclear. Steve also said that Grineer will be the only faction to have liches upon launch, and more faction variants will come further down the line. The NPCs aboard the railjack, for those curious, will hide upon being boarded, but in the future, further down the line, that may change. Itzul's Blink will be replaced with a new ability that will be an Archwing version of Ripline, as Blink of course will be universal for all Archwings as forward, dodge or sprint, with the left and right dodges remaining the same. They are still trying to work out an Archwing system rework with changes and all of that to coincide with Empyrean, but no exact information was given, and as for a release date for Empyrean, Steve said they will hope to get it released this fall, which is around September, but they can't provide an exact date due to prior times where they've done that and then never met it, such as, well, the War Within. Kuvalich's may also release with Empyrean, but may come before or after, as they are not specifically tied together, according to Steve. Lastly, the Orbiter remaster may release with the Drydock's pre-release, if that ends up happening. Outside of the Devstream last week, we had a developer workshop announcing that changes would be coming to a number of augments, 19 to be exact, and my video on those changes is on the channel if you do want to watch it, just to keep this episode shorter. 2 people had also tweeted at Pablo after that post went live about the changes to augments, and they said, "Nothing changed for Wukong's enveloping cloud. As a Wukong main, I'm disappointed by this. I'd like something like being able to give teammates in crit chance, crit hit buff for a short duration whenever I pass through them. For extra team play, support, please consider this." Pablo replied, "That would be a different augment." The original poster said, "I know, but I'm confused as to why this augment hasn't been changed to fit in with other Warframes. I love the Warframe rework, by the way, been playing with him before the rework as well." And Pablo responded, "Because it sees enough play to not need a change." The second Twitter post was, "Is there a possibility that certain abilities such as Ember, Volt, Oberon, Saren, and Frost's first ability could get a second augment, something more offensive depending on the ability? Or any ability could get a second augment in general?" Pablo replied, "Yeah, but there's 36 abilities without augments if I recall correctly, so not anytime soon." For PC players last week, we had hotfix 25.4.1 and 25.4.1.1. That introduced the Takulu Collection 2 and 3, providing skins for the Stiletto, Glaive, Nikana, Panthera, Redeemer, Magnus, Vasto, Akvasto, Basla, Gunson, and Stradivar. DE had also released the Essential Glyph bundle in this hotfix, and the ability to toggle Excalibur's Umbra details. They also increased the Atmos system's drop quantity by 1 in all Profit Taker bounties, removed matchmaking during the Sacrifice quest once the helmet had been interacted with, reduced chances of patrolling AI looking at walls once they reach a dead end, replaced the term proc chance with status chance where applicable, and updated the description of Chroma's Vex armor. They also made fixes for the Index and Nightwave alongside optimizations and overall game fixes, all of which are up on your screen and linked like everything else down below in the description. Hotfix 25.4.2 followed on PC with an increase to the Bloodshed Sigil's drop chance, with it now being 3% from the Profit Taker. The Silent Exterminator Nightwave Act has been updated to read, "Complete an exterminate mission with level 30 or higher enemies without triggering alarms." They also improved navigation markers in the Infested Corpus ship tile set and removed hack doors from the Razorback boss fight. More optimizations were also made in this hotfix, and of course fixes to the game, both of which once again are up on your screen. The last hotfix for PC was 25.4.3 that made one optimization and made the following fixes. Further fixes towards crashes that could occur when typing invalid characters in text boxes. They fixed an inability to confirm numerous text box situations even though the correct words were entered in non-English clients, such as clan message of the days, dojo room messages, friends notes, contributing dojo decorations, and possibly some other scenarios. They also fixed clients' inability to progress the Find X Syndicate Medallions Riven requirement. They made fixes towards cases of mismatched host and client dojos, and they fixed clipping doors in the Lewis Sabotage tile set. For console players on PS4 and Xbox One, Update 25.4 has been sent in for certification. It is 1.2 gigabytes and will release on the 30th of July at 11 AM Eastern Time. Nintendo Switch players, however, do not have a release date, but their update has still entered certification. A full explanation as to why can be found on the forum post alongside all the additions, changes, and fixes that came in all of those platforms' updates. One of those additions had also been confirmed by DE Danielle, and that's the ability for operators to use ephemeras, but the ability to toggle Excalibur Umbra's details will not be coming in that console update for all of those platforms. Once again, that was confirmed by DE Danielle. I know some of you have been interested for operators getting ephemeras, so look forward to that in the next update. In other news, the friends list will now be capped at 1,000 friends, Rebecca saying in the announcement post. I've certainly been pushing the technical limits of this with my accept-all mindset, and as a result, I have many errors that are entirely unique to accounts in the 10,000 plus friends range. Many of your favorite games and services have capped friends lists, and we will soon follow suit. Your friends list is more than just account IDs. We always look up the current alias, select avatar, last playtime, active mission, and more. Doing this for thousands of friends can involve hitting huge database pages, and it affects performance. This will be coming a few weeks from now. Anyone who logs in after the change, who has more than 1,000 friends, will be able to keep them all, but unable to add more. We will be adding a few mass delete tools as to help you shrink down your list, so look forward to that, I guess. In lesser announcement posts, Rebecca had responded to a post that suggested Nightwave Aura mods, with their suggestion being a reduction to armor and shields in one package. Rebecca's response to this was, "It's kind of been floated around before, super neat idea, wondering what other ideas people have." And in response to another person suggesting a corrupted aura like minus enemy armor and minus team shield, but this can probably get too close to griefing. Rebecca saying, if the corrupted effect was only on self, it would be doable. Another post that was titled, "Please lower the bullet jump requirement for Nightwave," Rebecca responded by closing the post and saying, "Looking as it's kinda devolved into a weird thread here, we won't be changing this. If you want to do it all against a wall in one mission, you can. Or you can do it across several missions while doing other Nightwaves." There was also D.E. Taylor updating Tenogen creators who are working on Wisp Skins, saying there was a small issue with Wisp's UVs, and fixed files are now available to download. The Lost Forum post announcement came from Megan and is directed at Xbox One and PlayStation 4 players, saying, "We've been made aware that the market diorama for Prestige Pack 14 indicates that this pack includes the Jade Clem emblem. This is our mistake, as the Prestige Pack 14 wasn't intended to include the Clemblem, as it was part of the previous Pack 12. To rectify this, we'll be including the Clemblem as part of Prestige Pack 14 for any purchases going forward, and we are currently running a script that gives the Clemblem to all players who purchase Prestige Pack 14. For developer Twitter posts last week, we had Steve replying to a question about comments made in the Devstream about Blink being made universal to all Archwings via the dodge forward sprint key, confirming, in reply to this tweet, that current sprint for Skywings will be made the universal speed. Next was Pablo, where he was suggested the following by a user. Would it be possible to add remove all attachments as a small quality of life in the attachment site of the arsenal? It's really tedious to be removing one by one every single time we want to see which armor suits best for a frame. With Pablo replying for the first time saying, "We resist adding buttons like that since they make screens even more intimidating, and gives us even more things we need to test and upkeep, for what, at least in my opinion, would be very small gain. Sorry." And another user suggested on top of that, "What about the option to right-click an attachment to remove them a tad quicker? I often like starting from a clean slate." And Pablo's last response in that thread was, "That could be a good compromise. We might do it when we redo that screen with themes." Another user asked about where they should provide input on the game and suggested expansion on the Shorzen's new functionality, where Pablo replied, "With millions of players it's hard to listen, let alone implement that many suggestions. But yeah, forums are a common place where the community team tries to gather feedback. The Shorzen is just a fun toy, not really going to go too crazy on piling features on that." Returning back to Steve, someone tweeted, "Will the Railjack DLC be single player friendly, or is it going to be more forced co-op like Destiny does its raids and strikes?" Steve once again confirmed it would be solo friendly, and another user responded, "I can't imagine how it would be. It must be here a massive undertaking to balance it out. I'm assuming I can leave my ship, get off, explore a tower or something, and come back without constantly worrying about it being destroyed." To which Steve replied, "Yes, there is a system for this. Sacrifice ship power for 100% cloak." Steve had also replied to a user asking if we would have horse mounts, and he said Deviri. For console players, Steve said he hopes there will be the ability to transfer accounts to the updated consoles, and he hopes that the game will have 4K graphics overhaul for consoles, but he said he doesn't have any details yet. The new lighting changes will be coming to Xbox One and dojos, and for those that are curious about reshade, Steve said you can't get banned for using it. Our final tweet for last week was Steve saying yes, fixes will come to adaptive exposure blowout. Anyway, that does conclude this episode of Last Week in Warframe. If you found the video informative, make sure to leave a like. If you think I can improve upon the series in any way, shape, or form, make sure to leave it in the comment section down below. And like usual, the channel glyph codes are up on your screen. They are one-time use. If someone has already used them, they will not be available to use again by you because someone else inputted them. Yes. Last episode's up on your screen. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Can't wait for another comment about, oh, all you do is read posts from other people. Yes, that's the channel.